Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. I just finished rigging up a bunch of rods for the Harris Chain of Lakes. I will be taking off tomorrow to head down there. Practice already starting. I'll probably air this during practice at some point so you guys know what I'm going down and using. But I wanted to walk you through the baits and the setups that I plan on using at the Harris Chain of Lakes. Typical Florida stuff. But you know, when we're down there, the nice thing about the Harris chain is it does offer some differences in terms of typical Florida fishing. Generally, if you're going to one of the other lakes in Florida, you're talking about either flipping or winding around grass of some form, whether that's hydrilla or hay grass or pads. You know, you're fishing shallow, but at the Harris chain, it does offer more deep water fishing, more offshore fishing, where you might be concentrating either on offshore grass or shell beds or just kind of hard bottom type areas. So you do have some variety of stuff. It's going to be interesting because as of right now, they're predicting we're going to have a cold front roll through on our off day. So the day before the tournament practice, from now through practice, we're looking at mid 80s. The day off, we're going to have a high of only 74 with a low of 30, I think 37. And then on the first day of the tournament, they're calling for a high of about 60 with low of about 40. So we are going to have a what would be considered a Florida cold front pull through. I'm still looking forward to 60-degree temps. But the reality is those fish down there do not respond really well to cold air temperatures and drastic changes in water temperature. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects things. I don't know that we're going to have a huge impact. You know, the water temp's going to be pretty warm. A good chunk of the spawn, I think, is going to be over. So I don't know that it's going to have as big of an impact as you may see on what would be typically a very much a spawn-orientated tournament. But we'll see. So I've got stuff rigged up for everything. I've probably got about 14 rods rigged that I want for practice. I'm not going to go over all 14. I'm going to go over the ones that I plan on using the most. You know, I'd say I've got, what do I got? 7 rods here that will probably be the workhorses. The other ones are kind of more the one-off or different versions of these. So I've got like 2 swim jigs rigged up. I've got 3 pitching baits. So I'm not going to go over all of that. But I do want to show you what I've got rigged up. So the first one I'm going to start with here is just a big heavy pitching bait. This is a Berkley Pit Boss in Junebug color with an 1.25 ounce tungsten weight. And then I've got that here just on a heavy flipping rod. This is the MHX FP 936. So it's a good, long, stout flipping rod for pulling fish out of thick cover, but it's also got a very soft tip. So it's got more of that parabolic bend, which allows you to get better hook penetration. I'll be throwing this on some heavy 65-pound. It's the new Durabraid. This is the 30-pound box, but it's the new Spiderwire Durabraid. I haven't used it yet. I'm really looking forward to trying it. But this is going to be for pulling fish out of thick, heavy cover. So if I come across something that's got matted vegetation, so whether it's hyacinth or, you know, thick hay grass or thick lily pads, cattails, just something to really get in and pitch on those fish. I've also got a creature hog, max scent creature hog rigged up on a lighter rod. And then I've also got a Berkley the General in black and blue rigged up on like a 3/16 ounce Texas rigged style weight, just for flipping around other stuff. So if you get a hole in the hay grass or an isolated pad clump, that type of thing, where I don't want to throw an ounce and an ounce plus weight, I want a lighter weight for that stuff. I'm not sure how much that's going to play though. If we get that cold weather pulling through, some of the more spawning related stuff may not play. Maybe the thick stuff, but I don't know. We'll see how that works. I love to flip. That's what I want to happen. I'm just not sure exactly what my game plan is going to be until I get there and see the conditions. So then you've got some of your really good moving baits. You know, for me down in Florida, I love to have a spinner bait. This is a color I really like. It's a War Eagle spinner bait. You can see I also paint mark up the bottom blade to be purple. I really like that in that tannic colored water. This is on a MHX MB843, a 7'3" power. So it's a medium heavy 7-footer. I like a little shorter rod when I'm throwing the spinner bait so that I just feel like I have a little bit more control over the bait, a little bit more accurate. From a casting standpoint, Garcia MGX reel spooled up with 15-pound, 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon. Just an overall good setup for tossing a spinnerbait around. I do think the spinnerbait could be a really good player this time, just because I think we are more done with the spawn, more onto a shad spawn. But again, if we get that cold air coming through, the shad spawn deal might be down. So I'm not sure if the spinnerbait bite and like our swim jig bite are going to be as good in terms of relating to a shad spawn, but I have rigged up my baits more on the white fashion to match a shad spawn. So you can see here I've got a dirty jig swim jig, the regular one, not a no jack. I'm not going to be fishing super heavy stuff with this, I don't think. And then I've got a little Berkeley 3-inch boss scrub on the back on a NMB 873 MHX blank with another Garcia Revo MGX casting rod. Again, 15-pound, 100% fluorocarbon. Just one of my all-around favorite setups to fish a swim jig. And in Florida, you got to have a swim jig when you're going down there. So along that same line, I've got here a vibrating jig, which I cannot show you yet. If you watch the Bassmaster Classic, you probably got your first glimpse at one thanks to John Cox, but I have been specifically told I can't show it to you. I can't talk about it, so I'm just going to say it's a vibrating jig. I'm looking forward to using it, and I've got it on my favorite vibrating jig rod. It's a CB907 MHX blank. It's a blended rod, so it's much more parabolic, but still has a strong backbone to it. Again, I've got this rigged on 100% 15-pound Berkeley fluorocarbon. I'm not looking at fishing super heavy grass with it. If I was, I might think about going over to the braid, but I think the fluorocarbon is a better way to get bit. We'll see. From what I've heard, there is not a ton of really thick grass at the Harris chain. I could be wrong, but at the moment, I've got it on 100% 15-pound fluorocarbon. And along those same lines, then for fishing grass, offshore grass, I've got here a Magnum Speedworm, a Zoom Magnum Speedworm, just green pumpkin. I've got various colors to throw. Again, I've got this now on an MHX MB, it's an HM, this is an older model. It would be the NMB 874, so a 7'3", 4-power rod. And then I've got it here. This is a Garcia Premier, Revo Premier, again with 15-pound fluorocarbon. That's kind of my standard fluorocarbon line. I will adjust if need be, but I usually stick with 15-pound just to see where I'm at before I get there. And I'm not one, I don't change my line before I get there for practice. I will change my line when needed, when I'm there, but as long as my line is in good working condition, I don't see a reason to change it if I only used it for, a handful of casts or one day of fishing at a tournament. So that's all line I put on for Sam Rayburn. I haven't used it since. I might change it before the tournament starts. We'll see. Okay. So then I've got two spinning rods with me, just because I feel like I got to have a few things. One, a jerkbait in Florida can be really good. So I've got the Berkeley Stunna here. This is the Northern Lights color. If you can see it, that's one of my favorites. And then I've got this currently on a St. Croix blank that I built. It's the Premier 6'6" medium light Premier blank, which I really like for jerkbaits. But it's again a custom rod that I built, and I've got it on the Garcia Zada reel, and I've got that with 8-pound 100% fluorocarbon. I again still like to go light. That's going to be more for fishing around open areas or some shell bed type stuff, which at that point I'm not too concerned about having 8-pound test. I'm more concerned about getting my bait into the strike zone. And then the last spinning reel here I've got a Wacky Rig Berkeley General, which is an absolute must. I've got this on an MHX NSJ 872, so it's pushing a medium action rod. And then I've got it here with the Garcia Revo MG Extreme. And again, this is on 10-pound X9 braid mainline to an 8-pound 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon leader. which again, I may switch come tournament time. If that bites on, I probably will actually have two wacky rigged generals rigged up, one with like 8 pound and then probably one with maybe 12 pound just to see. But until I see the conditions, I'm not really all that worried about my line condition or leader length. I just want to make sure I'm using, I'll generally start with lighter line and then go heavier if I need to. But those are going to be my primary setups for Florida. Things can definitely change. I mean, I could see, because I've heard there's lack of weed, I could hear potentially there being a crankbait bite, a dragging bite of some form. I think a topwater could play. If we don't get that cold water to come through, I think a topwater could still be good. It's typical Florida fishing. So you're talking about any of your power fishing moving baits that are good for a good around weed, any of your slow moving pitching baits, and then your, potential for topwaters or frogs. I'm looking forward to it. I like the Harris chain a lot. I've got a good track record there. The last time the Pro Circuit was there, I finished 5th. I think I've been there 6 or 7 times, and I think I've cashed like the last 4 or 5 times. So it's a place that I feel comfortable with. It, when we go to Florida, it feels like fishing Wisconsin to me. It's a lot of those natural grass-filled lakes, and I feel very comfortable. So I'm looking forward to getting down there. When you're watching this, it'll probably be right before the tournament. So yeah, hopefully we've got some good news following the tournament, and we'll do some post-tournament recaps. Hopefully I'll have video for this one too. I apologize for not having it for the Sam Rayburn tournament. I had some GoPro issues. Specifically my mount ripped out of the back of the boat, which was no good. So I've got that hopefully taken care of at this point, and we'll be good to go. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of the support that you've been giving me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, guys, you should go ahead and do that. It's a good way to support the channel. And I do have random giveaways for, subscriber milestone numbers where I give away a ton of stuff. And if you're not a subscriber, you don't have a shot at winning. So go ahead and hit that subscriber button and stay tuned. Another video coming out tomorrow.